Welcome to Rodney Parade for this round 4 clash between the Dragons and the Lions. The second time in the space of a week the Dragons have faced South African opposition. Just 4 changes to Dyer Flanagan's side, including that man there, Harri Keddie, returning after shrugging off that back injury. Same again at the halfbacks, and in the centre, young Tyro Joe Westwood comes in for Harry Wilson. A late change in today's lineups. It was meant to be Jarod Rosser on the wing. He's failed the late fitness test, so his brother Ewan deputises in the back 3. That's a 50th appearance in Lions colours for the charismatic prop Asenathi Ntlabakanye. He'll be leading the team out in just a few moments' time, but otherwise it's a largely unchanged side from the one that defeated Edinburgh so convincingly on the high veld in Johannesburg last week. And that is a devastating back 3. Van der Merwe, Francke Horn and Rabs Maxwane. 3 danger men for the Lions and 3 players the Dragons will simply have to keep shackled today if they're to stand a chance at turning over the South Africans, who are 2 from 2 so far. And here he comes, the big prop Asenathi Ntlabakanye. 25 stones of him, but you will not find a more agile prop. You won't find a prop with softer hands and a bigger engine. 50 caps for the big man on the tight end side for the Lions. And here come the rest of his teammates. Not quite as warm in Newport as it was in Johannesburg last week, although conditions still good here at Rodney Parade. There's Rabs Maxwane. Scored a hat-trick in that drubbing of Edinburgh last week. 4 tries in total already this season, averaging 2 a game. And we mentioned him as well, Edville van der Merwe, his wing partner in this Lions side. Some devastating runners in that Lions back line. And here come the Dragons to the sound of riotous applause. Leon Brown among those returning to the lineup this week. He suffered an illness and had to withdraw late on against the Sharks, but Dragons fans will be delighted to see him back. And that man, Taine Basham, who's made a huge impact at the start of the season. Man of the match last week in defeat to the Sharks. He was absolutely everywhere. And there is Leon Brown. So much promise over the last 8-9 seasons at the Dragons. He has, of course, been capped 24 times, but yet to really fulfill the potential everyone knows he does have. And before we kick off, a minute's silence for Kevin Bowring, the former Wales coach, who sadly passed away earlier this week.
Our thoughts go out to Kevin's family and friends at this sad time.
Kevin Bowring, a hugely respected figure in Welsh rugby, the first coach of Wales in the professional era. And he saw one of his successors there, Warren Gatland, looking on. He was a mentor to so many as well after he retired, and maintained close relationships with all the Welsh regional coaches. He will be sorely missed. So the Lions still in their pre-match huddle, the Dragons ready to go. And it's hello to Shane Williams alongside me today.
Shemai Ross, looking forward to this one. Lions form team at the moment, scoring tries for fun, aren't they, and points on the board, but Dragons, good performances home, unlucky against the Sharks. Maybe looking to bounce back for the home crowd. There's going to be a lot of tries in this game, Ross, potentially.
I think so. Conditions are good. It's a bit of a chill in the air, but no sign of rain in the forecast. The sun is desperately trying to break through the clouds as we're underway at Rodney Parade. Matthew Screech underneath this one, but just misjudges that one. The Lions plough onto the ball, and they're attacking opportunity now very early on in this game. Look to go wide immediately, get the ball into the hands of Rabs Maxwane, but he is well marshalled into touch from the Dragons. But as we mentioned, Shane, you cannot give that guy an inch.
No, it's not a bad back three, is it? Francke Horn, Maxwane and Van den Berg on the other side as well. Straight away you can see the intent from the Lions. Turnover there from the kickoff. They try and get the ball to the speedster. Well covered in the end, well marshalled, but that's what we're probably going to see for 80 minutes.
Rhodri Williams, good bit of distance on that clearance kick into the arms of Rabs Maxwane, who has a bit of time. And again, they look to go wide early, get it right the way over to the opposite touchline. And there's Eric Cronje, the abrasive centre. Van den Berg, and there is the man we were talking about earlier, Ntlabakanye. Huge presence there, but a mistake from the Lions. Knock on in the tackle. So we'll come back for the first scrum of the game. An opportunity to see now how these two front rows go down against one another. Leon Brown, as we mentioned, back after an illness last week. A powerful presence on the tight end. He's alongside Brodie Coghlan and the Argentinian once capped international Rodrigo Martinez. And it's a pretty hefty front row for the Lions. Juan Schoeman, Franco Marais, and the aforementioned Asenathi Ntlabakanye.
Welcome back when you're facing that front row, isn't it? We'll give you a nice easy game back.
I'm not sure quite how accurate those stats are. They were saying the Dragons have the heavier pack. Ntlabakanye 25 stones on his own. And he's packing a punch. So threads that one through. And the Lions, after running the first two attempts from inside their own half, up to put the ball into the air. Angus O'Brien sees a gap behind Pretorius, goes for the 50-22, but the blindside flanker is underneath that one. Van den Berg evades the first tackle. And here's Nico Steyn, 10 on his back, but a scrum half by trade, playing scrum half at the base of that ruck.
No hands, blue.
Van den Berg. Ntlabakanye, and another hugely wound up pass from the fullback Francke Horn, risky in his own half. Dragons defence was up hard, and hint of a forward pass there, but the Lions are away, and this is worrying times for the Dragons, but eventually brought to ground. Danger's not over yet, but a knock on from Nico Steyn gives the Dragons a reprieve, but the Lions showing their attacking intent from the off, Shane, as we thought they would.
Yeah, exactly what we expected, really. Some risky passes in there, isn't there? But it's a lovely bump off on Ewan Rosser. Good connection, good offload as well. Get behind that defensive line, always cause trouble. It's a bit risky at times, but they don't mind playing that kind of rugby. That's why you tend to see some high-scoring games when the Lions are playing. They do concede, but they score a lot as well.
Yeah, lest you need reminding, 48-0 was the half-time score between the Lions and Edinburgh last week. It was a marginally more respectable 55-21 by the final whistle, but the damage had already been done. And one thing Edinburgh didn't do particularly well was defend. Lions were streaming through tackles at will, so the Dragons will have watched those videos, and their defence will need to be resolute today, and their attack is looking sharp as well. Here comes Joe Westwood in acres of space. The big man inside to Rhodri Williams. Does he have support? He's isolated for the time being. Dragons managed to pilfer the turnover. Now they launch a counter of their own through Jarod Cairns. And it's a penalty for the Lions, but space just opened up for Joe Westwood there and for the Dragons.
It's a lovely little break, nothing fancy, just straight running. It was just the timing of the pass, the pick of the hole. Rhodri Williams is always going to be there or thereabouts, trailing that the cheat line, as they say, the 9 inside line, trying to get there. Unfortunately, it was just him that kind of read the pass. And once again, the Lions will trail back. Look at that, it's just straight running. It's a lovely little line. He does the right thing. He runs towards Rhodri Williams because he knows he's there, but unfortunately he's on his own. Tackle's made. It got a little bit messy at the breakdown. And that's when the Lions come alive, isn't it, on the turnover.
So Franco Marais to throw into this lineup. It's a messy one for the Lions. It does come back on their side. Well, that's not the kind of ball they'd have wanted. Van Den Berg. It's Darrien Landsberg with the carry into the Dragons' blue brick wall. Dragons, of course, playing in their change strip today at Rodney Parade. The Lions in their traditional red and black. And Rio Dyer looks skyward and plucks that one from the skies and launches another counter, but Angus O'Brien just overrunning that pass, and it's back on the Lions side now.
Okay, thank you.
Max Wani is up in this one. Angus O'Brien needs to be quick and decisive, and he is. Dragons flooding back in support of their fullback. And Aneurin Owen just urging calm.
Use it!
Rhodri Williams being told to use this one. He gets the ball safely onto the top of the Candleston stand, and danger averted for now, but Lions, Shane, just look sharp in every aspect.
Yeah, they are sharp. There was a good kick chase initially off the box kick. What the Dragons can't afford to do is turn that ball over so easily. It's a lovely little line from Rio Dyer. Angus O'Brien comes on the short ball. The pass just wasn't good enough, a little bit too much power on it. Turnover, and that's when the Lions come alive. We've already seen they'll run straight, they'll run across, they put the little kicks through. It's just a real mixed bag.
So more messy ball from the Lions line out. They're on the back foot now as the Dragons rush up in defence, and that is good defence. Strong tackle from Harri Keddie, but the Lions are away. And that's a lovely inside ball to Taine. That one surely went forward, and Aneurin Owen crying out that it did. So while they're showing attacking intent, a fair few errors creeping into their game already, the Lions. Perhaps that's a product of running everything from every angle.
Yeah, the old 50-50s, isn't it? If it's not on, don't pass it. I don't think the Lions really care about that. Every time they take it into just before contact's an offload. I think it was over 3 forward passes in that one. Certainly the shed on the other side made the ref aware that there was a couple of forward passes there, but that's exactly what they like to do, like to keep the ball open. Don't need to get to that breakdown. They want to offload. They've always got support on the left and right hand shoulders, and again, hence why they're so dangerous.
Bind! Set!
So Rhodri Williams to feed this scrum, and the Lions get a bit of a shove on. Williams gets the ball out and into the midfield. Angus O'Brien again on that hefty right boot of his. Francke Horn safely underneath, but slips on the Rodney Parade turf.
Retreat.
That's Lloyd Evans back there to gather in his 22. He's got Angus O'Brien with him, but decides to run. And O'Brien with another one of those raking trademark kicks, and this time Edville van der Merwe is the man at the back.
Keep going.
Bit of kick tennis emerging now. A lot of length on these kicks, and Angus O'Brien is determined to pin that one into the corner. He got a 50-22 last week against the Sharks, but that one is overcooked, I'm afraid, from a Dragons perspective. And we'll go right back to the point where he kicked it.
Always the risk, isn't it? Always the risk when you go for that corner for the 50-22 now. And if it just goes a little bit too far, you're bringing the ball all the way back to where the ball was kicked in that time. He had a couple of chances, Angus O'Brien. I don't think he'd be thanking Lloyd Evans for the initial pass for the kick from where they started, but it's a gain for the Lions.
He was sort of caught in two minds there, Lloyd Evans, wasn't he? Thought he was going to hoof it, and he thought he was going to run it. Got a bit stranded. He's very much established himself as the first choice fly half this season at the Dragons. 4th consecutive start for the former Gloucester man. And his father Hugh is in the crowd here today. Hugh Evans, who was a long-time benefactor of the Scarlets. With a name like Lloyd Evans, it won't surprise you to learn he is Welsh qualified, although he has played for England under-20s. I wonder if Warren Gatland was casting his eye over him today among a fair few others.
There'll definitely be a few players you'll be looking at today.
Crouch!
Positive start from a few of them as well.
Bind!
See the advertising hoardings on the far side, advertising those autumn internationals, which are now just a month away. So these games in the URC trials for Wales, as well as important league games, and that's another big push from the Lions. They're away now, and Van Den Berg just scragged, but inside to Francke Horn, advantage being played. Free hit for the Lions. There's Van Den Berg again. He's a real danger man around the fringes. And there's huge gaps now on the right-hand side, and it is an absolute walk-in for the Lions and for Francke Horn at fullback. So much space. The defence was tied in, and all it needed was the pass to land safely in the breadbasket of Francke Horn, which it did. And the Dragons, the Lions rather, strike first.
Yeah, just a little bit too easy, wasn't it? It was the initial break for Van Den Berg. And support Francke Horn there. But here, usually you see teams will pick and go, just go through the patience mode, try and get the try in that way. But this Lions team, they'll play from anywhere. They really will. Even 5 metres, they want to get the ball out wide. The damage is already done there twice. Van Den Berg involved. Quick ball from the breakdown. No one there to have a go at it in the Dragons jersey. The try was just too easy.
Nico Steyn from the right-hand touchline, and that is struck perfectly. Bisects the posts, adds the extras, and with 11 minutes on the clock, the Lions find themselves their 7-0 lead.
Lions 7.
All came from that big scrum, didn't it? It's been quite competitive so far from the two teams. But the Lions wanted to keep it in. They wanted to have a crack. They wanted to get on the front foot. He was there. The player of Morné Van Den Berg's quality as well on the front foot. He is dangerous.
Well, the Dragons will be conscious about what happened in Johannesburg last week. In the blink of an eye, Edinburgh found themselves under an avalanche of points. Important now for the Dragons to get themselves back into this game. They've not had much of the ball, but they do now have a line out inside.
Open up, Lions.
The Lions half.
Yeah, open up. Here is the mark. Stay back.
Italian referee Filippo Russo just making sure that gap is maintained. As Brodie Coghlan throws to the middle to Matthew Screech. That's good clean ball from the Dragons as they launch an attack. Lovely stuff. Lovely interplay between Aneurin Owen and Lloyd Evans. But just like the Lions did 2 minutes ago, the Dragons pass the ball forwards.
Yes, it's an area that Dragons are actually quite comfortable, isn't it? Their backs plays, nice little wraparounds. I think that ball just needed to get out to Rio Dyer a little bit earlier, didn't it? Before the actual contact. Maxwane is coming in as well. But I just think if the ball would have gone initially, maybe in a 2-on-1 with Maxwane. I'm not saying that they'd gone the outside of him because he's pretty sharp, but it would have been far more effective.
Crowd.
So let's see how this scrum goes now then, the last one.
Bind.
The Lions got a good shove on, which ultimately set the platform for that opening try. This one a bit more of a steady platform, begins to wheel around now as Van Den Berg told to use it. Francke Horn sends that rubber kick bouncing towards the touchline. That was a slightly more reassuring scrum from the Dragons' perspective until it started to wheel.
Late then, guys.
Coghlan, this time it's overthrown and into the hands of his opposite number, Marais, who bulldozes his way up to the 22.
Stay back.
Van Den Berg, Landsberg.
Leave.
Dragons piling in, risk of coming in from the side there as the Lions yet again put width on this ball into the hands of Edville van der Merwe. Steyn on an interception. Is anyone going to catch Harri Keddie? Has he got the legs? Being chased by Nico Steyn, but he is quick. Is the open side flanker, and against the run of play, the Dragons have struck back. Phenomenal run from Harri Keddie. Great awareness to snaffle the interception, and then he pinned his ears back, outstripped the Lions' cover defence, and dots down under the posts. What a response from the Dragons.
I don't think Harri Keddie can believe he's actually run that far. He looked petrified running with it, didn't he? He thought, how was this ended up in my hands? That's a lovely run. That's what you get. Lions attacking really, really flat there. Defensive line, especially Harri Keddie, up nice and quick in the passing line, in his breadbasket, under the post.
Lloyd Evans adds the extras, which means we are back on level terms here at Rodney Parade. 7 points apiece. And Harri Keddie, who is quite familiar with that try line. He's among the Dragons' top scorers last season. And that will have pleased the Dragons' brains trust. Di Flanagan, head coach, alongside his defensive guru, Philo Tiatia. An old teammate of yours, Shane, and someone who commands respect.
Yeah, I can tell you for sure, and I had a little glance over when the Lions scored earlier on, and he wasn't particularly happy, so I avoided eye contact.
Very wise. Taine Basham fielding that one. Safe hands. Number 8 on his back this week, Taine Basham. We know how versatile he is. Wore 7 last week, but quite often packed down at 8 on attacking scrums. Time for Francke Horn. Good lateral movement from the fullback. Van Den Berg. Ntlabakanye. Not much room for him to manoeuvre. Van Den Berg.
As we pay tribute to Dragons RFC fan Ray, who sadly passed away last weekend. Rest in peace, Ray.
You may have heard the spontaneous round of applause that's erupted around Rodney Parade. It's in tribute to the Dragons fan Ray Gleed, who so tragically passed away last week at the Sharks game. And it's happening on minute 17 because he would have been 78 on the 17th of this month. Lifelong Dragons and Newport fan from Caldecott. And a real show of affection from Dragon fans here today.
Thank you very much. Come on, Dragons!
Time is off, time is off.
So while we have a break and play, just another chance to see Harri Keddie put the afterburners on him. Nico Steyn was gaining on him, Shane, but it's a mean turn of pace from the flanker.
Yeah, that's it's one of those, isn't it? You intercept it and then you think, hold on, I'm 70 metres out here, have I got the legs? It didn't look like he had it for one point, but fair play to him, he kept his head down, kept going. And what it's done is brought Dragons back into the game, so it might have taken the sting out of the Lions a little bit as well.
Well, a fantastic one-handed take from Landsberg initially in the line-out. And he'll be disappointed that the ball was then lost forward on the floor. But look at the athleticism.
Push straight, okay? Push straight.
NBA basketball player.
I think it was Shane Lewis-Hughes just coming around and grabbing hold of the arm as well, making it difficult. It's always a chance of dropping it then if you've got the ball in one hand. Not that I could ever hold the ball in one hand.
There's Paul Turner there, alongside the Wales coaches John Humphreys, Mike Forshaw and Warren Gatland. And unsurprising stats there. Possession and territory is overwhelmingly in favour of the Lions, but a free kick off that scrum.
Early.
Taine Basham just told to take it from the mark. So take 2, Rhodri Williams to Matthew Screech, who makes a few yards with that surge. Owen. Now here's Leon Brown. Lloyd Evans goes to the air. There's a bit of space there. bounces awkwardly. Francke Horn and Van der Merwe just deciding who's going to take responsibility for that one.
Inside. Inside.
And the ball safely into touch.
Yes, it was a nice kick from Lloyd Evans. I think just thought the communication was a little bit off there. Harri Keddie on the right-hand side here. Rio Dyer wasn't there to chase it. The ball actually bounced twice as well, so I think if Rio Dyer would have been on the right-hand side here, he'd have had the pace to get somewhere near that ball. It's the first kind of couple of phases that the Dragons have actually played through. Made the Lions' defence work a little bit.
Matthew Screech again, the target at the back this time. Takes it cleanly, and this is a decent maul from the Dragons. Beginning to inch towards that Lions 22. And there's Coghlan, the abrasive hooker. Loves the physical stuff. Players need to look after that ball on the floor, and it's been pilfered. Francke Horn with a left-footed hoof downfield. Angus O'Brien have to retreat quickly to gather that one. It's gone backwards. He maintains his composure well.
No, was outside. Ball was out.
I think the little juggle from Angus O'Brien helped him a little bit. It kind of ushered the Lions' defensive line up a little bit quick. Good step and a lovely kick to take the pressure away. I think it was just Brodie Coghlan, wasn't it? Just got caught on his own. You could hear Rhodri Williams screaming for the ball, for the pass. He just decided to go on his own and gets turned over.
It's okay? You're right there. Are you okay? How many? 5?
So a 5-man line-out called. Franco Marais, the former Gloucester man, came back to South Africa and the Lions via the Red Hurricanes of Japan. Well, that's another messy one for the Lions. The line-out not functioning particularly well for the South Africans. Owen, Westwood again steps back inside. Coghlan, there's Leon Brown into space. Rhodri Williams not happy. There was a Lions hand in that. Coghlan to tidy things up. Owen sees a gap. Owen's through the gap. Has he got sport on the outside? Well, there's a hand on that from the Lions and their centre, Cronje.
Release blue on the ground. No.
The Dragons just finding some holes now in this Lions defence.
Use it. Release blue on the ground. No, leave 4. Use the ball, Red.
Charge down from Basham, but loud blast on the whistle for offside, and the Lions, who suddenly found themselves desperately on their own line, get the chance to clear into touch.
Yeah, you don't want to. That's the last place you want to give that penalty away, isn't it? Right on their line. All the pressure was on the Lions there. I don't think that kick would have gone particularly far if Van den Berg would have got rid of it, and then the Dragons would have had a nice little line out to have another go. But I think it's important to say that the Dragons, once they do go through the phases, they are creating problems for this Lions defence. 2 little straight running lines already by Joe Westwood has created problems for Lions. They just need to keep the ball sometimes. Don't panic, don't need that miracle pass.
So that's the first substitution of the game. We see Juan Schoeman coming on to replace Darrien Landsberg, who seems to be clutching his back in a bit of pain.
Yeah, in the middle of the pitch. Okay, 10 minutes.
Landsberg, the Zimbabwean-born player who is attracting interest from both the Springboks and Zimbabwe. He's apparently expressed his interest to play for South Africa rather than his native country. So it looks like his afternoon's work is done early.
He's arriving.
So we've gone back to look at that bit of interference in the ruck. And Rhodri Williams wasn't happy about it at the time.
from the ground, for me it's a yellow card. Stefano, do you hear me?
Yes, give me a second to check the number. I haven't got it.
So it looked like it was a foot of the Lions player rather than a hand, Shane, but St Coghlan just took the sting out of that Dragons attack.
Yeah, the Dragons do look a little bit dangerous, don't they, when they can get quick ball, that breakdown. Very cynical, dark arts. He'd have got away with that a couple of years back. As frustrating as it was for Rhodri Williams, but they still seem to get on the right-hand side, didn't they? Still got over the gain line, and Aneurin Owen with a lovely little run. Just good scramble defence, and Lions saved the day, really, but...
Stefano, you? Okay.
Yeah, you heard the TMO come in at the time. You
Number
can
two, okay.
go back
So
2 phases for foul play, and that's exactly what he's done.
In the middle of the pitch, because he played from the ground in the ruck. Okay, cynical. Yeah, on the turn. 2 red.
So Franco Marais is the guilty party, and the referee is reaching into his
from
pocket.
the ground with the head, with the leg.
So it won't just be a penalty, it will also be a yellow card.
Franco Marais.
Yeah, I think he probably thought he got away with this as well, didn't he? He does well, he slows the ball down anyway with a counter ruck. Rhodri Williams goes to get it, and there you are. He did nutmegs Rhodri Williams with a little flick. Knew exactly what he was doing. Unfortunately, there's no hiding place anymore.
I'm afraid not. And like any good scrum half, Rhodri Williams made the referee quite aware of what had gone on.
It'd have been interesting, actually, if the Dragons went on and scored from the next phase there, whether or not they'd have come all the way back for that one. But they didn't, and he hasn't got away with that one.
What it does mean is the Dragons do now have another opportunity inside the Lions 22.
Open up, Lions!
Attacking line-out, and the line-outs function pretty well so far. Matthew Screech has been the primary target, but it was Shane Lewis-Hughes that time. And the Lions have done a good job initially of stopping the progress of this maul. But Coghlan wants to keep it in, and it looks like the right decision as they do now start to build some momentum. And now, even more momentum. Now it rolls towards that Lions try line. A man down, of course, the Lions in the forwards. And this is the time for the Dragons to strike. And in the end, it's as easy as that. Taine Basham sees the smallest of gaps on the right-hand side of the ruck, and with the help of a few of his friends, trundles over for the try that takes the Dragons into the lead.
Taine Basham!
As you say, Ross, as easy as that. I don't know if that was easy. That looked well worked from where I was, but took advantage of the fact that Lions were down a hooker. Very patient. Referee's already called. Use it. One stop, which means obviously Rhodri Williams is on his toes here just in case, but lovely play. Good patience in the end. You've got to come away with points when you're this close to the try line. Taine Basham, after a good game last week as well, he's kept the form up this week.
Well, we talked about the fact Warren Gatland's up in the stands and who he might have his eye on. Taine Basham, who didn't go on the summer tour to Australia, has done everything right in these opening rounds of the season. Like you say, Shane, man of the match last week in a losing cause. 20 tackles. He was top of the dominant tackles charts as well. And as Lloyd Evans just slides that one to the wide of the right-hand upright. And he missed a few last week as well, Lloyd Evans, which ultimately proved crucial in a tight one-score game.
Lions 7.
The Dragons will be hoping that doesn't come back to haunt them again this week.
Yeah, the fact that Taine Basham's playing 8 today as well is a huge pointer as well, because that just means Warren Gatland's looking at him thinking, right, okay, this guy can play in any position in the back row. It's a great help for him, especially when he's selecting your squads as well. He keeps this vein of form. He can pick where he wants to start.
Indeed. And he's one of those guys that, almost like Josh Navidi before him, seems to punch way above his weight. He's not a big man.
Okay, Dragos on the line.
But,
on the line,
as you say, so versatile and so powerful on both sides of the ball.
How many? 4.
And once again, that Lions line out leaves a bit to be desired.
Stay back, stay back.
Cairns playing a scrum half. Ntlabakanye.
Leave 6.
No room to manoeuvre for the big tight head prop.
Use it.
Van Den Berg. No choice this time but to go to the air. Rio Dyer, dominant in the skies, takes that one superbly, does the Wales winger. Harri Keddie, the try scorer. Lloyd Evans. Dragons launch an attack from their own half now, but this is dangerous. Fingertips from Rabs Maxwane.
Take off the ball. Take off the ball.
A penalty to the Lions.
Number 8, take off the ball.
Player taken off the ball, and that means they can get a chance to claw back some of those points. But it's fast and furious at times today, Shane.
Yeah, it was always going to be, wasn't it? But that's the frustration, really, with the Dragons. That's just offloading a ball they really need to keep hold of. It's good pressure initially from the Lions' defence, but it's almost a no-look pass there. Maxwane is coming in for the spot blitz. What that's done is you've gone from control, winning the ball, playing the right areas, to giving a penalty in a really kickable position as well, and you can just air the frustration of the Dragons coaches behind me here.
Nico Steyn successful with his first attempt, that conversion from the wide right-hand side. This one's an easier kick. Strokes it over comfortably. Lions back within 2 points, 12-10 to the Dragons. Nearly half an hour gone. Cairns, well met by the Dragons.
Stay back. Use it.
No, that's a win for the Dragons. It's a brilliant kick-off initially from Lloyd Evans right by the touchline. Now those are nightmares to kind of try and attack from. Pressure on in defence. They had a little counter ruck. Put the pressure on Van Den Berg. He had no option to give to Ntlabakanye. Unfortunately, kick just wasn't quite good enough.
Coghlan, Rio Dyer cutting back against the grain. He's manhandled to the ground by Juan Schoeman. Rhodri Williams. Leon Brown, powerful leg drive from the tight head. Good to see him back in action. Ben Carter. Aneurin Owen.
Release!
Almost the hero last week in Aneurin Owen when he went for that despairing interception. Could have given the Dragons the victory they so craved. Harri Keddie, Taine Basham, one-handed. Arrives to scrum half. Leon Brown offers himself again. Putting a good shift in with the ball in hand today, Leon Brown. Here comes Matthew Screech. Deft offload to Aneurin Owen. Aneurin Owen probing, finding gaps, but it's unfortunate for the Dragons. It's spilled forwards. And the Lions clear their lines, but definitely a shift in momentum appears to be happening in this game. Lions under a lot more pressure than they were certainly in the opening 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think what the Dragons are doing really well at the moment is they're trying to get that ball from the breakdown really, really quickly. It's a rip here. Yeah, it's a rip eventually, and then the turnover comes. But they're finding holes. The Dragons, 2 lovely runs from Leon Brown. Got over the gain line, took 2 defenders out the way. Again, the gains, just maybe a little bit more patience, ball in hand, getting that 22, come away with something.
So not straight. And the first time the Dragons line out has let them down.
Captain. Line out.
So Francke Horn decides to have another line out this time. The Lions will get the throw in. Filippo Russo just urging them to quicken things up.
They almost seem to be taking too long for the line, don't they? They second guessing themselves. It's always a nightmare for a hooker, but there you are. We haven't even got a hooker on, have we? It's Jarod Cairns throwing in.
And it was not straight. I'm not sure it even went 5 metres. So that's what happens when you haven't got a hooker throwing in. So. Well, I haven't said that. Alan Lawrence of Cardiff did it last week and was successful with 4 from 4.
Well, yeah.
So it can be done.
No, you can't take Lion.
No, that was from Jarod Cairns. That was nowhere near straight, but even with the hooker off, you thought perhaps maybe the scrum would have been a better option to get the ball in and out quicker.
Number 7 off.
Especially given that the line-out has been a bit messy so far this afternoon, the Lions. So here we go then. That means Cairns has to go off and PJ Botha, the replacement hooker, comes on for the scrum.
I think Jarod Cairns is being punished for that absolutely horrendous throw-in.
Yeah, the walk of shame. Don't do that again. So, PJ Botha, the son, of course, of BJ Botha, the famous Springbok front row forward.
See on the left, okay? See on the left. No worries. No, here. Give him the space. Okay. No head to head, please. Let's go. Here we go. Cross! Give him the space, okay?
Shock of blonde hair belonging to JC Pretorius on the open side there. We haven't seen a great deal of him. He was absolutely everywhere against Edinburgh last week. A real menace. The Dragons have done a good job of shackling him as Taine Basham goes blind to Rhodri Williams. Rio Dyer, bit of space from Dyer. And that's well defended. Nico Steyn just sweeping across to cut off his options. But good ground gain from the Dragons down that right-hand touchline.
Yeah, it's really gutsy, isn't it? Look how short the blind side is there. Three sets of hands are ready to get around the corner. It's the right thing to do from Rio Dyer. He's got a kick here, otherwise he's in touch anyway. It's good cover. But it's positive from the Dragons. And look where they are. They've got the ball back.
Absolutely. The deflection off Nico Steyn means Brodie Coghlan gets the throw in. And this time it's safety to Screech, and a variation there as Leon Brown peels around on the blind side, catches the Lions unaware. And a bit of urgency now to this Dragons attack. Martinez, Williams. Oh, Joe Westwood just takes the eye off the ball. So unfortunate.
It's almost had too much time, didn't he? Almost too much. It's great play from the Dragons. Quick ball. Lions aren't really committing anyone to that breakdown. They're holding everyone in the line. He's running the right line there. He's actually almost half through a gap, isn't he? Takes his eye off the ball. I've counted that. That's about the 3rd or 4th time now that the Dragons have got this close to the try line and they've dropped or turned the ball over. That's the difference.
And it was last week a similar pattern. The Dragons went into half-time ahead against the Sharks, and it was the 3rd quarter where the damage was done. The Sharks coming right back into it. The Dragons will want to have learned their lesson from that. It's a 2-point game at the moment, and this would be a great time for them to score. But it's a Lions put into this scrum, a defensive scrum, right in the shadow of the posts. A free kick, which will ease their worries.
Step back him. No, step back.
So Morné Van Den Berg to Francke Horn. And another ball lost to the stand. Bounces on the corrugated iron above us.
It's okay.
I'm going round the back afterward. I need some new rugby balls. There's about 3 or 4 have gone over there. Again, though, the pressure's still on. Dragons still got the ball back. Oopsie, that was a free kick as well, so it was passed before the kick in the 22. The Dragons now another line out. It's a good attacking area. They need to keep control, keep the pressure on.
Shane Lewis-Hughes, the recipient this time. And once again, the Dragons try and get this maul moving. Brodie Coghlan, as ever, marshalling things from the back.
Use it 9.
Williams told to use it, and out it comes. Owen, bit of interplay in the back. So, and it's another forward pass. The whistle hasn't gone. Now it has. But once again, these handling errors are beginning to add up.
Yeah, so it's only about 12 yards forward, that one, but
yeah.
You can see what Rio Dyer
is doing.
yeah.
That's to be certain.
You can see what Rio Dyer was doing. He held his depth. He initially got called around the blind side by Rhodri Williams, then Rhodri screened him to get back open. And he got the ball, but it was just a little bit lateral from the Dragons. Francke Horn and Maxwane marshalled that right-hand side in defence really, really well. You can see what Rio Dyer was trying. It would have been a lovely pass had it been flat or backwards, but it was a miracle pass.
Give me a good gap, guys. Crouch!
So 2 minutes remaining in this first half at Rodney Parade. 12-10 to the hosts. As Morné Van Den Berg feeds this scrum. Lions back up to their full complement now as that scrum motors forwards and the arm is out from Rousseau. Penalty advantage. Edville van der Merwe gathers, chips, grubbers, but Joe Westwood is back in defence to cover. He will have no advantage and return to the original penalty.
Yeah, the Lions knew the penalty was coming there after a dominant scrum. They didn't really have anything planned in their back line. It was just 2 flat passes and a kick over to Van der Merwe. We've seen him score from them a few times, haven't we? Why not? It's a shot to nothing.
So you've seen the stats there. 4 of the last 5 penalties conceded have been by the Dragons. That's something they'll want to keep an eye on. Franco Marais back after serving his time in the sin bin. And that's a good clean take there from Cairns. Oh, into the hands of Cronje.
Not on the ball, no.
Marais breaks one tackle, drags down another 2 defenders. Nothnagel, Francke Horn dancing feet, swallowed up by the Dragons' defence though. Dragons need to be resolute in defence here. As the clock ticks into the red, they'll be desperate to keep their line intact and go into half-time in the lead. Taine, was that a forward pass as well? Rousseau was on the spot, didn't call it. Cairns.
Stay there, stay there. Thank you.
There is the tight head prop, Ntlabakanye. It's a penalty to the Lions. Dragons not rolling away. And so far, Nico Taine has been dead-eyed with the boots. And this is a
5 is
gift.
good. 1 needs to roll.
Bang in front of the posts. And a psychological blow for the Dragons, saying if this goes over, they will go into the sheds behind, albeit by just a point, but psychologically that's important.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It looks to me that Martinez is trying to roll away and does eventually roll away. He's just not quick enough, unfortunately. Shane Lewis-Hughes over the ball as well, who looked like he had an opportunity to turn the ball over. And once again, after all that pressure and all that hard work, it looks like the Dragons may just be behind going into half-time.
As he did with his previous 2 attempts, Nico Taine makes no mistake. Slots that one through the posts.
Half-time score here.
And the half-time score at Rodney Parade, Dragons 12, Emirates Lions 13.
Lions index 3, Dragons 12, Lions 13. Big 40 minutes to come, so come on the boys, make some noise, let's go, the Dragons!
So Lloyd Evans to get this second half underway at Rodney Parade. 13-12 the half-time score to the visiting Lions side. There's never been more than a score in it in this game. It's close, it's tense.
Outside.
And at times it's been pretty exciting.
Inside.
Both sides showing a real intent to play and to run the ball. Conditions are good here at Rodney Parade. No sign of rain in the forecast. And crisp and dry autumnal field proceedings as Angus O'Brien sets off an amazing run. It takes the Lions a few attempts to bring him to ground. Matthew Screech. He's well met in the tackle. Williams, Evans. Dragons a bit bunched together there. Rio Dyer steps back inside, uses his footwork to gain a bit of ground. Now the Dragons go back to that open side. Lloyd Evans sees a gap, exploits that gap. And there's a man down for the Lions. It is Asenathi Ntlabakanye. He's just recovered and got back into the defensive line as the Dragons continue to pour forwards, but as happened a lot in that first half, the Lions slowing things down, messing things up at the breakdown, but
Never on the ball.
Felipe Russo has adjudged there was a hand in that ruck, so it's a penalty for the Dragons in a good position. 1 point down, and Lloyd Evans doesn't hesitate. He's going for the corner, Shane.
Yeah, it's the right call. Great positive start from the Dragons second half. Yeah. Asenathi Ntlabakanye. There's a bit of clash between him and Rio Dyer. I think that's why he's stayed down. I think the Lions know exactly what they're doing here, slowing the ball down, frustrating the Dragons. Got a good area again. Driving maul's gone really well. Got to go for it again.
And there is Asenathi Ntlabakanye on his 50th appearance for the Lions, and looking a bit groggy down there.
Yeah, don't mess with an 80-kilo winger. It's a bit of a clash. Here it comes. Yeah. Not sure where he's been caught there, but he's been caught, hasn't he?
He has, hasn't he? No danger of head-on-head contact, anything like that. He just,
no.
It was almost a bit of a whiplash.
I was more concerned for Rio Dyer, if I'm honest.
Going into it, yeah. But 1-0 to Rio Dyer in that collision.
Stay, okay.
So a good chance this for the Dragons as Matthew Screech ploughs into traffic. Good carries here from the Dragons there. Shane Lewis-Hughes uses his leg drive to get a few extra yards, and now they're close. Aneurin Owen on support. Taine Basham reaches, scores! A second try for Taine Basham. And we talked about Warren Gatland watching on. Taine Basham over the last 2 weeks at Rodney Parade has done everything he can to impress those national coaches. What a start for the Dragons.
It's a wonderful finish in the end. But it was great ball carrying initially. Line out, good, effective. Yeah. Just coming around the corner, nice and effective. It's a bit of a gamble, that one from Basham, because he puts his arm through the hole there, stretches out, gamble pays off. It was a lovely finish from him because he was short of the line, managed to stretch the arm over and finish it. But all that came from hard work from the guys on the inside, just coming around the corner, relentless pressure on the Lions' defence. Someone who deserves another try is Basham. He's enjoying himself.
He really isn't. We talked about his influence on the other side of the ball last week with all those dominant tackles and that defensive work. And this week, well, he's on his way to getting a second consecutive Player of the Match award. 2 tries to the good already.
Outside.
And an all-round action man performance from Taine Basham.
Outside again, 9. Outside. Use it.
Yes, we go.
So game management the key for the Dragons now. They've got that lead back. They're going to want to hold on to it. Shane Lewis-Hughes, who bagged himself a couple of early turnovers last week. You could see him there biding his time, wondering whether it was worth going over to pilfer that ball.
No.
Nothnagel. Schoeman. So all close quarter stuff from the Lions now. Their tendency to go wide early has been constrained a little now. That was Van der Merwe in the midfield off his wing. Now it's Francke Horn in a bit of space. He's got Cronje outside him. A good tackle from Joe Westwood brings the big number 8 down to ground. Van den Berg, Steyn, Marais, Jonker. There's a good angle from Conrad van Vuuren. A loud blast from the referee, holding on in the tackle. Good defensive work from the Dragons, and they'll get the penalty. And they'll get the chance to bury this ball into Lions territory.
Yeah, it's good patience in defence. Brodie Coghlan in the end, he was involved a couple of times, made a couple of tackles an hour. Wasn't involved in the initial tackle itself, over the ball, turns the ball over. See how the Lions wanting to play, they got options on both sides, trying to keep the ball alive. What the Dragons are doing really well is tackling low. It's taking the attacker down nice and low. It's giving an opportunity for the Jackler to go over the top. Even if he doesn't turn the ball over, he's slowing it down, and the Lions aren't quite as comfortable with slow ball.
And still to come on off the Dragons bench is the king of the low tackle, Mr. Dan Lydiate, former teammate of yours. Still going strong at the age of 48 or whatever he is these days.
Oh, this will be right up his street, won't it?
And that's Harri Keddie just, well, shoving the tackler off the ball but then failing to release it in the tackle. So a bit of a tit-for-tat penalty-wise as the Lions get one inside their own half.
Yeah, Pretorius, isn't it? Strong over it. Harri Keddie does well, doesn't he? He's half tackles, so he tries to skip out of it. Steps into the territory of JC Pretorius.
Yeah, it's almost like getting that extra yard was his downfall.
We used to have a call that the Ospreys could concede, so you'd have a player of Philos status who go really low, take the defender down, waiting, and he'd have Marty Holler or someone behind him just waiting for him to hit the ground so he could pounce on the top of him. All about the chop tackles.
Well, here comes Sanelli Nohamba, who is a bit of a superstar in this line setup. Nico Steyn, his afternoon is over after 46 minutes, playing out of position at 10. And there's Van den Berg. Reckless pass inside, but his foot was in touch anyway. Nohamba's another player who can play at 9 or 10. He's played both in this line side.
Open.
Not much room down that side.
So definitely a slight change in tactics from the Dragons in this half. You've seen a lot more kicking from inside their own half in this middle third. They're getting unnecessary risks. As we mentioned earlier, it was this period in the game last week against the Sharks when things began to unravel for the Dragons. They want to make sure they manage this third quarter. As Cairns builds up a head of steam, he's a difficult man to put down. Nohamba winds up a pass. Is he going to release it? No, he goes for the kick pass into the hands of Rabs Maxwane. Lloyd Evans has him covered. Soak up tackle from the fly half.
No.
Harri Keddie being told no, leave that one. Here's Nohamba again. Van Vuuren, the replacement tight head, making his presence felt.
Always beside the rock.
So the penalty count definitely mounting.
Ball always inside the rock.
and mounting in the Lions' favour. This one, kickable.
That's always the threat, isn't it, that the team of Lions, who certainly picked the pace up, haven't they, since this man Nahamba's come on. You could see him, he's looking for that pass, decides to kick across the field. It's the right option, but Dragons just chasing shadows at the moment, and they're having a go at these breakdowns. It's not there to have a go at, and the referee is warning them, but they're still giving the penalties away.
Yeah, the man we're looking at, who has just come on, is the reigning URC Player of the Year, beating Kurtley Arendse and Cameron Hanekom to the title, so an indication of quite what an impact he had last season. He really is a phenomenal young player. Taking over the kicking duties after replacing Nico Steyn. Bit of a sand wedge, he gets underneath that one, but it counts. It's over the posts. The Lions are back within 3.
Yeah, Aneurin Owen definitely one to watch, isn't he? Already he's got, just seems to pick the pace up a little bit of the Lions in the way they're attacking and trying to get the ball out wide again.
Okay.
So Henko van Veek has come on to replace Rabs Maxwane. Maxwane not having anywhere near the kind of impact this week as he did last. Hat-trick of tries against Edinburgh in Johannesburg. Well, the Dragons have largely kept him quiet. But Henko van Veek is an attacking force himself. Right on cue, there he is. Relentlessly aggressive runner is Henko van Veek, very difficult to bring down. Different kind of threat to Maxwane. There's no Hamba. Jonker, oh, Jonker just drifts through the Dragons' defence, almost surprises himself. There's no one with him at all, though. The ball's gone loose into the hands of Angus O'Brien. O'Brien sees space. Juan Horn does well to take that one over his shoulder. And Juan Horn is as dangerous as anyone in this Lions back line.
Yeah, the last thing the Dragons want now is this game to open up, as it is.
Definitely, as we said, they need to manage this quarter. Here's Cairns, and Cairns, you thought he was held, and he just shrugs off the tackle far too easily, and ends up cantering in for what is a gift of a try for the Lions.
Try to the Lions. Dragons 19, Lions 21.
Yeah, unfortunately, how many times have we seen this with the Dragons where just seem to switch off for a couple of seconds in games? You can't afford to do that against this kind of team. 4 or 5 players on the blind side. And again, they're just going to open up. Jarod Cairns, just lovely line inside. Just over the top of Angus O'Brien. And that's just too soft, isn't it?
It is almost like deja vu. Last week against the Sharks, the Dragons took a 22-12 lead into half-time, and before they knew it, they found themselves behind in the second half. Simply have to switch back on and not allow this one to get away from them again.
I think they are looking at a possible obstruction somewhere. I didn't quite see it, but still, that's no excuse for poor tackles on Jarod Cairns. Did well, mind, he was involved in that play several times, wasn't he? Lions definitely attacking down that blind side.
The conversion was good from Aneurin Owen. So that takes the score to 19-23 now in the Lions' favour. Still a one-score game. 4,500 or so Dragons fans in today will be hoping their team scores next. They need to wrestle back this initiative. Such an explosive start of the second half when Taine Basham crashed over his second. They'll want to ensure now that this is no lost cause.
Yeah, the Dragons need to realise it's only 4 points as well, so it's all to play for. Was it 26 minutes left in the game, so certainly not panic stations yet.
It's a good take from Rhodri Williams and Lloyd Evans. Ships it onto Aneurin Owen. And now Ewan Rosser. First opportunity really for the left winger to receive the ball in space, but he's swallowed up by Cronje and Henko van Veek. Nice tip on from Harri Keddie, but that was well read from the Lions, and Angus O'Brien was smashed the minute the ball arrived in his hands. Cronje winds up a big pass to Francke Horn, who drills that one downfield past O'Brien, who has to retreat. And he's got not much of an angle to work with as he tries to land that one in touch. Back come the Lions. But that one goes straight out on the full from Francke Horn. Rio Dyer allows it to do so, and we'll have a line out back inside the Lions half.
Yeah, Francke Horn, he does really well, doesn't he, to win it initially. Jumps from beyond the touchline into the field of play, which is legal, of course. And his chip ahead, his banana kick doesn't quite pay off. We get a line out back from where he initially done the jump in anyway. But it's Dragons' ball.
Also come on to the field, Chris Coleman and Ryan Woodman.
So here comes Brodie Coghlan to throw into this lineup. Like Taine Basham, he put a heck of a shift in defensively last week. 23 tackles the hooker made, as well as doing his other duties around the field. And that's good clean ball again from the Dragons. Harry Wilson, who's onto the field with his first touch. Edville van der Merwe just shepherding that ball into touch.
I think it's the right tactic. Right
Sensible.
tactic, get the ball down there, sensible. Wasn't really on the outside. Our Lions had pushed in defence, so I ushered them right to the touchline there. Lovely kick through. Would have been nice, obviously, if it had stayed in, and the Lions would have ushered it over the touchline, but they didn't. They could still put the pressure on.
Ryan Woodman's on for Matthew Screech and Chris Coleman for Leon Brown. Lions win that, that's both up. Ball's gone loose. Secured by the Dragons. Dane Blacker's on as well. Scrum half replacing Rhodri Williams. Here comes Aneurin Owen. Soft shoulder of Van Veek. He manages just to drag him down as the ball bobbles over the top, and Rio Dyer has to scramble backwards to secure that one.
In front, so knock on. Touch by red.
So a knock on from the Lions. We'll have a scrum for the Dragons. Big Harri Wilson just entered the arena. Summer signing for the Dragons. He's made a bit of an impact so far. Strong running ball carrier. Former New South Wales Waratah. And there's Cameron Jones, loan signing from the Ospreys. Bit of a loose head crisis at the Dragons at the moment, with Jordan Morris, Dylan Kelleher, Griffiths, Rhodri Jones and Josh Reynolds all currently sidelined with injury, so Cameron Jones has made the short journey from Australia down to Newport to offer some cover, and there he is for his first appearance.
Yeah, I think probably the Dragons probably would have needed this break more than the Lions. Lions got the momentum at the moment on the front foot, looking to close this game out. Dragons just need to realise it's only 4 points in this game, plenty of time to play. Do exactly what they did earlier, a Aneurin Owen kick, just play it in the right areas, put the pressure on Lions. We've certainly proved they can score tries against this Lions defence. A bit of confidence going into the last quarter of this match.
So Jarod Rosser and Ashton Hewitt we saw briefly there. Two more on the Dragons injured list. Jarod Rosser was initially named for this encounter, but had to pull out on the day. His brother Ewan
Crouch!
getting his shirt.
Bind! Set!
Dragons work it round the blind side. Pre-planned move, and Dane Blacker's grubber kick just bounces off a Lions player and directly into touch.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. It worked in the first half. Certainly when you got Taine Basham picking the ball at one-handed that quickly out of that scrum. It's a pre-call, obviously, round the corner. Well marshalled, but probably the kick is the right option. Put the pressure on.
Shane Lewis-Hughes soaring high again to take that one. And Harri Keddie with the surge.
Backwards.
It's gone out the back, but Harry Wilson has to clear up the scraps.
Reeve. Ball is here. No, wait. Stop.
Pressure coming through, just preventing Dane Blacker from getting that ball out quickly. And the influential Harri Keddie offers himself for another carry. Out the back to Aneurin Owen, who's swallowed up in the tackle by Henko van Veek, who's looked really hungry since he's come on. Junior Springbok Player of the Year is Henko van Veek, a real prospect. I know they've got very high hopes for him in the Lions and South Africa in general. And Cairns over the ball, the turnover is good, and an opportunity for a counter-attack, although Van Vuren got in the way of that pass, so Francke Horn has to stick this one high into the sky and over the head of Angus O'Brien. No angle at all to work with there, so that one's not gone into touch. Francke Horn allows it to bounce, and here comes Nohamba. Good pass, but could so have been a hospital pass.
In the middle.
Yeah, they were passing towards where Lloyd Evans is sat on the floor as well, and that could have been nasty, but yeah, the referee's done the right thing. He's blowing the whistle.
For me, it's okay then.
Could be quite dangerous if the ball would have carried on going towards Lloyd Evans there. Again, just the Lions showing.
Lloyd's father in the crowd there. Briefly, we mentioned him earlier. Hugh Evans, long-time benefactor of the Scarlets.
Yes.
I wonder if he'd like to see his son in Welsh colours as opposed to English. So born in Gloucester was Lloyd Evans, played for Gloucester nearly 100 times. Never quite nailed down that first choice jersey with Adam Hastings and Santi Carreras at Gloucester. And of course, once they signed Gareth Anscombe, the writing was kind of on the wall for Lloyd Evans, but he's found a home here in Newport. And Will Reid, who's now onto the pitch, has had to settle for a bench spot this season so far. He was the Dragons' first choice last season. Started 16 of the 20 games he played in.
Let's go, Coley! Wait. Crouch! Bind!
So we enter the final quarter. As Van Den Berg feeds that scrum, both front rows are up now and it wheels around 180 degrees, and Van Den Berg tries to make the best of a bad situation. Another one drilled downfield. Ewan Rosser chases his own kick. Plenty of time for Francke Horn though. Too much distance on that one perhaps, and Francke Horn just uses Cronje as a blocker. Nice tip on between the two front rowers. Both are over the gain line. Taine Basham just advancing up out of that line and snuffing out the attack for now. Pretorius. Another Lions danger man. The Dragons have done well to shackle Dane Blacker. Again, just rushing up the line and spooking the Lions, or attempting to at least. Dragons almost managed to rip the ball there, but it's still on the line side, and both are. Oh, that was a pass that maybe didn't need to be made. Cat flap pass from the reserve hooker, and it's gone forward.
It was definitely on. I don't know if the cat flap was on, but there was certainly numbers on his right-hand side there. He knows if that had come off, it'd have looked brilliant in the analysis on Monday morning, but wasn't to be. The Lions are certainly looking down that blind side, aren't they? They're looking for lazy defenders coming around the corner, getting the gains, but that time Just good scramble defence from the Dragons, managed to stop them. But we're looking for the opportunities on this blind side, definitely.
I'm not sure a hooker should ever be allowed to do a cat flap pass. There should be a law against that.
Well, they're doing everything else at the moment, don't they? All the tries and driving mauls and everything else, so you'd think... You probably think they're good enough to do it now, see, that's the difference.
Yeah, their egos have swelled.
Yeah, they have, definitely, 100%.
Set! No. Hold down here.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, both stay high, okay? Repeat it.
Cameron Jones is appealing to the touch judge. It looked as though he was at fault there for just collapsing that scrum.
Yeah.
Both reserve props on for the Dragons now. Chris Coleman on the tight head side. Of course, one of the 4 try scorers last week in that agonising defeat to the Sharks.
Oh, it's okay. Crouch! No, guys. For me, it's okay. It's okay. Stay down. Okay.
Oli Burrows
For me, it's
is
okay.
on a hooker as well
Stay
for the
down.
Dragons.
If we something, I'll check it. Stay down.
Another former Osprey, came through the Ospreys Academy, Neathbourne.
Okay. Open up a little, okay.
Signed for the Dragons from Exeter, where he was studying business.
Don't stand up if it's not necessary, okay? Crouch! Bind! Set!
Blacker. Basham again with the early pickup to Blacker. Harri Wilson, now he's got a bit of space. Drills the kick down into Juan Horn.
Retreat!
Horn returns with a bit of interest.
Retreat! Dragons!
Will Reid.
Come back!
And the hammer underneath that one.
Keep coming.
Now Harri Wilson, will he run? Ewan Rosser down the tram lines. Now Hamber with the football skills traps it.
Keep coming, keep coming!
And that one has dribbled into touch. Will Reid had to watch that one disappear behind him. So field position for the Lions. The Dragons will obviously get the put into this line-out.
One.
But definitely tactically it's become a bit more cagey in this second half.
That was real classy from Mahamba, wasn't it? Just traps it with his foot, pops into his hands. Lovely kick down the line there. But so what the Dragons have really found today is how to be effective from a scrum as well when you're under pressure. Taine Basham's been great, and he just picking the ball up to the scrum one-handed, getting round the corner nice and quick. It's a lovely little attack down the right-hand side. I just thought they maybe should have kept the ball a little bit longer before the kick.
Yeah, almost Falatau-esque, isn't it? These one-handed pickups from Taine Basham off the back of a retreating scrum.
It's a skill to have, isn't it? Especially if your scrum isn't as strong as the opposition. It's great to have.
Good bit of height on that kick from Blacker. Cronje under a bit of pressure and loses it on the floor. So Dragons' chance to attack against a slightly more disorganised defence.
He was good. Take off the floor. You are on the floor. You can take off.
So penalty Dragons, and we mentioned Dan Lydiate earlier on. I think he's about to come on. The old warhorse, Dan Lydiate. 36 years of age and still going strong.
What a player to bring off the bench, especially a game like this now where the Lions probably are tiring a little bit. They played a lot of rugby. But they are going to still keep coming, keep knocking at that door, and you've got someone like Dan Lydiate's ability just to chop those tackles, bring the experience with him as well. It's Taine Basham again with lovely feet.
12.
Good night, Irene. Off the right foot. Lovely.
You'd have been happy with that sidestep, wouldn't you?
Oh, happy days, yeah. I'd have pulled a hamstring doing it now, but back in the day, back in my day.
Stay 10.
That's Ryan Woodman with the take, and Harri Keddie Peels round the back. Taine Basham swivelling, using every trick in the book to evade the defenders. And there's Will Reid. Runs into a bit of traffic. But Ewan Rosser has got very wide, and that's a lovely pass out to Taine Basham. He's on his own a little bit, and Aneurin Owen clears the ball up as the Lions try and rip it from his grasp. That was Marius Lowe. Basham again with the one-handed skills.
Leave 17.
Crucial moment in the game this now. Momentum has swung back and forth.
They've got to look down the blind side.
Yep, Ewan Rosser has kept keeping his width, but that kick is overcooked. There's a penalty coming anyway.
18. 8 jumping across.
But yeah, you sense this is a critical moment. 13 minutes left on the clock, 4 points in the game. Dragons in the red zone.
I don't know if Blacker needed to kick that ball there. There was blue shirts just screaming for on the left-hand side. You got Rosser right on the touchline, hoping that it's going to come back that way. Lions just screaming for the defence to get back, but they're going for the 3.
Di Flanagan didn't appear too happy with that decision. So they're 4 points down. 3 points get them within a point, but they're in the red zone. Momentum's with them.
I think they're driving. The line has gone really well as well. They're driving more. They've had a couple of tries from it as a result of it. Yeah, I can see why Di Flanagan would have perhaps wanted to go to the corner.
And it's off the posts.
22.
So 4 point gap remains, but crucially, the Dragons have lost field position now.
I think is that a confidence thing, or is that just an overriding call? It is. Dan Lydiate's on, but I think that despite the miss, I think they had to go for the 5 or the 7 pointer there.
Yeah, 11 minutes left in this game. Dragons fans will be hoping that decision doesn't come back to haunt them.
And that's also disappointing, the fact that the drop kick has gone into touch. That's a huge gain for the Lions. That should not be touching the ground. There should be someone under that ball straight away.
How many, guys? How many? 5.
Line-out ball is secured, but they're a long way back now, the Dragons, as they get this maul rolling. It's a good maul.
First off,
but they're still inside their own half. Blacker to Owen. Will Reid loops around. Harry Wilson. Now it gets in the hands of Rosser. Rosser's got some gas, but he's well marshalled by 2 Lions defenders, Henko van Veek and Eric Cronje, combining to smash the Dragons winger into touch.
How many Lions? How many? 4? 4?
Yeah, Rosser caught in 2 minds there. He looked like he wanted to put the boot to ball, just kick it down that tram line. Good scramble defence in the end from the Lions, but some time in this game. There's no need to panic yet for the Dragons.
Cairns with a take. No Hamba.
Stay. Stay. Sorry.
So again with a bit of space. Pretorius looks like he was injured in that attempt to jackal the ball. Clutching his hip and wincing. Will Reid. And there we go. James Coleman with a tip onto Ben Carter as the Lions defence rushed up.
He's wrapping him. He's wrapping.
Blacker looks frustrated. The ball's not coming out. The ruck speed isn't particularly quick here. The Dragons find themselves marooned in this middle third. Angus O'Brien.
Release. Okay.
A rip from Pretorius, but it's gone backwards. Dragons just about managed to hold on to it.
Stay back.
Coleman, heavyweight tight head prop.
Back.
And Angus O'Brien, the pass goes behind him.
Leave now.
Takes a sting, takes the momentum out of this Dragons attack. It's all a bit lateral,
Use it.
all a bit laboured. Woodman, again, taking the ball standing still.
Use it now.
Sense the Dragons need to inject a bit of dynamism into this as Dane Blacker says enough's enough. Sticks the ball in the air. Dan Lydiate gets fingertips onto that, but it's gone forwards.
Stay there, 20. Inside. Use it 9. Advantage over.
Advantage over as the ball lands in the terraces. And the Lions, you'd imagine, Shane, just happy to soak up the minutes and allow the clock to keep ticking on.
Oh, 100%. I think they'd be the most comfortable at the moment. Dragons just looking to... They're running out of ideas, aren't they? They're just sending one-up runners, and the Lions will deal with that all day long. Need a bit of options, need options both sides. The blind side for me as well, if the Dragons get quick enough, ball seems open, but they've got to get that ball quick. There's no point waiting for it, playing through another phase and then coming back.
It's a bit more promising. Taine Basham into the line. Oh, but the last pass, as so has often been the case, just doesn't land in Rio Dyer's hands, and you could see the frustration as a prone Taine Basham lay on the floor, banging the turf.
Option. Strong call.
It's flat passing, I think. In fairness, Francke Horn is going to get to this if he needs to, but
Come on, Rodney Parade, 5 minutes remaining. Let's get behind the team.
pass isn't quite good enough, is it?
Small margins. 4.5 minutes left. 4.5 minutes for the Dragons to turn defeat into victory.
Okay, let's go, guys.
This is where you need your leaders now.
Give me the space.
You know, the fact that Dan Lydiate's on that field, he is a warrior, he is a leader, he's been in these positions before. He just needs to keep letting the teammates around him know that there's plenty of time to win this match. Don't panic.
Yeah, they've actually scored more tries than the Lions today, 3 tries to 2, but some quality place kicking from the Lions. They've not missed one attempt on the posts, whereas the Dragons have missed 2.
Bind. Set.
And a groan goes up from Rodney Parade as Russo awards a penalty to that Lions scrum. And looks like, as it was a while back, Cameron Jones, the youngster, has been penalised for collapsing that one.
That's a huge victory, isn't it? Not only have they won the penalty, so they're going to make a bit of yards here, but that's probably taken about 1.5 minutes, 90 seconds out of the game. In complete control. Only 4 points ahead as well, so there'll be no rush to get to this line out, and that man,
How many?
Nahamba, since he's come on as well, has looked classy, hasn't he? But
2 meters away, 9.
It really has. I was talking to some Lions fans down in the stand earlier who seemed surprised he wasn't in the starting lineup, and given the influence he's had, you can see where they're coming from.
100%. He looks a cool character, doesn't make many mistakes, certainly hasn't since he's come on.
Release now.
So the Dragons need to be squeaky clean here, because any penalty is now within range, and that will take them 7 points clear if the Lions get a penalty here, and that, of course, is a converted try. The Dragons would have to score twice to win this game. Referee takes a tumble. Seems more embarrassed than anything else.
No, more red.
He should be embarrassed. There was an awful attempt at a tackle.
Time off, man down.
Got nowhere near him.
No, didn't wrap his arms. Awful technique.
But again, you know, the Lions will take that all day long. Eating away at the time, frustrating the Dragons. Again, there's 3 minutes to go, so the Dragons, they just need to get this ball back. Just be a bit more composed. It's still there to win.
But to put it in context, this is the second of 3 consecutive home games for the Dragons, which is a quirk of the fixture list. It's not often you get 3 home games on the trot, and if they lose this one again, they'll be going into next week's game against Benetton, staring down the barrel of 3 consecutive home defeats, which is not remotely what they'd have been hoping for. Jarod Cairns, the man who scored that crucial try which put the Lions back in front, has just been named as the official BKT URC player of the match. Last week it was Pretorius who was all over Edinburgh like a rash, but his back row colleague Cairns has been extremely influential in that back row today.
It's quite often a back rower has player of the game, doesn't it, for these South African teams. They go through so much work, not only defensively, but ball carrying on the scoreboard with a try, well taken try as well, that put the Lions in a good position today. They work so hard.
Bind. Set.
So 2.5 minutes left, then an attacking scrum for the Lions. And, well, as the last 2, the penalty goes the Lions' way, and since these front rows have been replaced, there's been a definite advantage towards the Lions when it comes to the scrums. Chris Coleman and Cameron Jones, we've seen there having a bit of a baptism of fire, the youngster.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's a good kick from Amber.
United Rugby Championship player of the match award goes to
assistant referee has snuck a bit further up the touchline. I thought that was right on the 5-metre line.
How many?
Yeah, so it's another call, isn't it? Lions could have gone for the 3 points there, put them 7 points ahead.
And they've gone long, and it is plucked from the air by the man of the match, Jarod Cairns, acrobatically leaping at the back of that line out. And for the Lions now, it's just a question of game management. They don't need to rush this. They don't need to attempt anything dramatic. They just need to keep hold of this ball, work their way towards the try line.
Release. Leave the ball off feet.
And it's desperate stakes for the Dragons now, because they are 95 metres from the Lions try line. 4 points down, and there's less than a minute to play.
No.
3 points was the margin last week against the Sharks. It's 4 points this week.
Not on the ball. Not on the ball. It's a rock.
A losing bonus point will be of 0 consolation to this Dragons side. They think they're good enough to beat these South African teams at home, and they do have a penalty with 30 seconds left on the clock. It's a lifeline. They're a long, long way from the Lions try line, but they've got a chance.
Yeah, that man, Dan Lydiate, he has been an absolute nuisance since he's been on. Just trying to counter-ruck every possible breakdown that's there that the Lions have had that time. Turnover, perfect timing as well. It'll be the last line out of the game. He's over the top.
Time is off, guys.
Yeah, fond memories of seeing that.
Still got it.
He's an animal, absolute animal, as is that man.
So the Angus O'Brien kick didn't take them too far up the field, but the Dragons showing intent now. There's still a hunger, there's a real desire. Oh, almost the commentator's curse, but The bobbling ball didn't go forward. Crucially, Harry Wilson, Will Reid, they need to find a gap. They need to somehow penetrate this Lions defence, because they're a long, long way from the try line, but they can't afford to boot the ball. The minute they do that, possession will be relinquished.
Leave now, 4.
And the bonus for the Lions is they don't have to be as squeaky clean in defence, because they know they're not anywhere near kicking range. They can take a few more risks at these breakdowns. And when the limbs are tired, this is a lot harder than it looks. And that's, you'd have to say, is that 81 minutes on the clock. Loud, shrill blast from Filippo Russo. Penalty to the Lions.
Dragons just desperate just to try and get that ball. The problem is a lot of tired legs at the moment. You send up a one runner up the middle like that, he's going to get turned over all day long. And that was the case.
And Saneli Nohamba, with a good deal of enthusiasm, sends that ball soaring into the sky above the stand here by Rodney Parade. And with that flourish, the Lions end victorious. They are still unbeaten in the URC this season. Victories against Ulster, that handsome one against Edinburgh, and a more cagey, close one here against the Dragons, but they all count. 23-19, the final score to the visiting Lions. They've said they want to be a playoff team this year. They narrowly missed out on 8th place to the Ospreys last year. And on the evidence of things so far, they look very much as though they got playoff pedigree. Heartbreak for the Dragons again, much like last week. They led this game for large periods, but ultimately could not get over the line. Final score at Rodney Parade as round 4 comes to an end of the URC. It's the Dragons 19, Lions 23.
The next home game here at Rodney Parade is against Benetton Rugby on Saturday, October 19th. Make sure you get your tickets on the way out here at Rodney Parade tonight.